All right, we are live. Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the first edition of what I'm hoping is going to be something that continues on for a long time and provides a lot of value for you all. So, as many of you know, I'm Dr. Carly Golightly. I am the founder of Empower Naturopathic Medicine in San Diego, California. And as you may have guessed by the name, I am a naturopathic doctor, which is essentially a specialist in integrative medicine. And I have here with me my friend, Dr. Hoot, who was a classmate with me at the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine and one of my favorite people in the world. She is currently practicing in New Jersey. And Dr. Hoot and I wanted to get together because during this time of madness, when things are just a little bit crazy, everyone's stuck at home, people are kind of uncertain about what's happening, we wanted to just give ourselves and you guys a little bit of an outlet. So we're just here to talk about things that we find interesting. And as naturopathic doctors, maybe you'll find it interesting too. And if nothing else, you'll at least have a better idea of how naturopathic doctors, specifically myself and Dr. Hugh, view the world, what we can offer to you. And hopefully it'll just provide a format for y'all to ask more questions and get educated. So without further ado, I'll give Dr. Hoot a moment to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Hoot. As Dr. Carly said, I am stationed in New Jersey, which is also where I'm from. My community is interesting. It's just kind of real people. So I get to see almost everything all the time. So I got kids, I got elderly people, I got people in between, lots of menopause, lots of digestive issues. So that's what I deal with on a daily basis.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your practice, Dr. Hoot?
It is Holistic Dr. Hoot. Pretty easy. Yep.
So Dr. Hoot had kind of a unique idea for today's topic, something that I wouldn't have thought of because this is not something that I have seen a lot of in practice. But Dr. Hoot wanted to talk about the kidneys. So if you wouldn't mind just kind of launching into why kidneys? What is so interesting about them that you wanted to dedicate an hour of your life to chatting about?
God, I love the kidneys. So first of all, March is National Kidney Month, as we know. So I think this would be a great opportunity to talk about the kidneys. They are a very interesting pair of organs. So that I think we really take them for granted. And I think I started to get interested in them kind of at the end of our schooling. We had our urology class and we were learning about everything that could go wrong with the kidney and how they're, remember? Yeah.
I remember you being all like, about the
and Dr. Tambori was like, so there's not much that we do for the kidneys. And I was really intrigued by it because I couldn't believe that there was nothing that we could do for this really important organ. So I went and I dug and I dug and I found that there are a lot of things that we could do for the kidney. So I have also had a lot of patients that have really weird kidney conditions, and that's kind of caused me to go digging as well. So I think they're really important because they do a lot for us, and we just kind of let them have it in terms of toxicity and damage and stuff.
You brought up a really interesting point when we were chatting before this, which was basically like, so we have these organs and they filter everything. So all the blood, all the liquid in your body basically goes through your kidneys and they filter everything, and they have to work perfectly for however many years that you live. But it's one of the least talked about organs, or at least loved organs, you know?
Right.
Like, we talk about like liver health, and we talk about brain health, and we talk about your heart and your gut. But like, when was the last time you ever heard anyone really, really go in on the kidneys and talk about and how incredibly important it is? So what types of things are you seeing clinically with your kidney patients?
Okay, so with the kidney patients, if we're talking CKD, which is chronic kidney disease, which is what people mostly come in for, they don't really have any symptoms other than they've had hypertension and diabetes for years. And then they silently have been developing chronic kidney disease underneath, which they really won't have any symptoms until they get to kind of like an end stage form of the disease. So they don't really have many symptoms, which is the scary part. They they don't feel any different when their kidney is declining in function
Mhm.
because they're that resilient. These organs are so resilient that even when you have really low GFR, really low kidney function, they still feel totally fine, normal.
Mm. Which is kind of
Which,
a blessing and a curse, right? Because we
right.
want them to be functioning even in the face of all this, like this onslaught of just stuff that we put them under, like the
Yep.
hypertension and the heart disease and things like
Mhm.
that.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like silently developing these issues. So it's something that you need to pay attention to.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So aside from chronic kidney disease and like in kind of the context of hypertension, like I know that there's some other conditions that can cause issues with the kidneys, like lupus, some other autoimmune diseases. Have you seen anything like that?
I have not seen anything like that yet. I
Mhm.
think the most interesting thing I've seen actually is cystinuria, hereditary cystinuria,
Ooh, tell people
which
about
is
that.
really
That's a big
interesting.
fun word.
Yeah. So this is like one of the most rare causes of kidney stones.
Mhm.
And you get it because you have some kind of faulty system whereby you can't get rid of the amino acid cysteine. So
Mhm.
then, like we talked about, the kidneys, what they do when they can't get rid of something is they just hold on to it. So
Mm.
when they hold on to the cysteine inside the kidney tissue, it forms stones, and then you have to go in there surgically and remove them. Causes a lot of pain. Obviously, anybody who's had a kidney stone knows it's really painful to pass a stone. And so the one patient I have with this hereditary cystinuria just has so much going on with his flank. it's, it's ridiculous. The poor guy, um, surgery after surgery, passing stones, blood everywhere,
Ooh,
terrible
yeah, that sounds
situation.
nasty. That does not
Yeah, it's
sound
horrible.
yeah.
So that is the most interesting thing I've seen in terms of kidneys. Now, haven't had much follow up with this person because
Mhm.
shits are interesting, but I gave him some things to address his condition. So we'll see how it
Right.
turns out.
So
Yeah,
on that note, like you mentioned kidney stones, which are
yeah,
another incredibly common kidney disorder that most people are familiar. When you think of like a kidney disorder, I think probably a lot of people go straight to kidney stones.
yeah. Right.
So can you just tell everyone like what is a kidney stone?
Okay.
What are the different types of kidney stones?
Oh gosh.
What
Okay.
can naturopathic doctors do to help people with kidney stones?
Right. So kidney stone is kind of like a accumulation of stuff that gets stuck in the kidney. There's lots of different kinds. Cystine stones are one of them. You can have staghorn stones, which is like this growth outward inside the kidney itself.
Literally looks like what it sounds like.
Right.
Horn.
Horns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are tough.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, the cystinuria patient may or may not have both cystine stones and staghorn stones. So that makes it even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then calcium stones. And there's one other stone I'm forgetting.
Oxalate.
Oxalate. There you go. So those are the four most common. Um, what we do for kidney stones in general is hydration. Hydration, 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 even for the cystine stones to solubilize and get those things that are being stuck in the kidney
Mhm.
to dissolve and be able to get excreted through the urine.
Mm.
So that's really important for most of the stones other than cystine stones, and even in addition to cystine stones, magnesium and citrates are really important. So magnesium citrate as a supplement is
Mhm.
something that you could give to almost any um, stone patient.
Mm,
Help to
interesting.
improve the solubility of the stones. So
So
because it,
really from our perspective, we're looking at improving the solubility and
mm-hmm,
dissolving those stones to the best of our ability. And obviously there's going to
yep,
be a point at which the stones are too big and they have to be
yep,
removed.
yep.
Do you remember what that was? It was like I remember it being like centimeters, like a couple centimeters.
7, 6, 5, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But so the just, a note for people to understand is that there are limits to this preventative type of stuff.
Yep.
And this is why it's so important to start addressing these things earlier rather than
Yes.
later,
Right.
right? So you don't want to let any of your problems progress to this point where now you need surgery.
Yep.
It's much, much better, much more cost effective and safer for you to start addressing them earlier on in the process.
Yep.
Um,
AKA stay hydrated,
that's
please.
right. That's right. Well, I don't know if you remember when we were in urology and Dr. Tambori, he kind of created that analogy or basically the picture of what a kidney stone patient looked like. And he used the analogy of an Arizona Diamondbacks game in the summer.
Oh
And
God, yes.
do you remember? Do you remember? Because he was saying it's mostly men. It's
Yep.
hot.
Yep.
They're dehydrated because they're not drinking any water and they're drinking lots of beer and they're eating hot dogs, so
Yep.
processed foods. And
Yep.
that right there, those are your
Yep.
risk factors for kids. So it's a really, really great way to kind of just do a quick analysis of whether or not you may be at risk for kidney stones and whether
He's
you
the best.
start working with someone like Dr. Hoot.
Yep. I got you down.
So other than that, I know you talked about the chronic kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
How do you address that as a naturopathic doctor?
Oh man, it's first of all so much easier to prevent end stage kidney disease than to address it once it's already happened. So you really have to work on the hypertension and the diabetes aspect, because those two things, if you can control those, then you can prevent the progression into a worse form of the disease. So I start there, definitely. So with diet and lifestyle, stress management, sleep is so important for blood pressure and prevention of diabetes. Because it actually, when you don't sleep enough, it causes insulin resistance directly.
Mm-hmm.
So once you fix the sleep, hopefully a lot of those issues that are occurring metabolically can kind of backtrack and reverse themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then herbs, mostly herbs for kidneys. They respond really well to anti-inflammatory and nephroprotective herbs.
Awesome.
Yep.
What are some examples of like different anti-inflammatory and nephroprotective herbs that you could use?
So I should backtrack. The herbs are nephroprotective. I use fish oil for an anti-inflammatory because it's just really potent and it'll affect everything, not just the kidneys.
And if I'm remembering correctly, there was a study that we learned in urology about fish oil being able to help the kidneys, the nephrons in the kidneys actually regenerate. Do you remember that?
Yep, that is correct.
So
Yep, I totally do. And that's
so what that means is basically if you're taking fish oil, and obviously this is like a high quality fish oil, not one that you got from Costco, it can actually help the functional cell, the functional unit of the kidney, which is called the nephron, to regenerate itself. So basically to come back from this disease state into
that's right.
fully functioning, beautiful, maybe not brand new, but close to brand new nephron.
Right.
Really powerful stuff because you don't see that happening typically in chronic disease states.
No, you see these people progressing into dialysis. That's what you see. And so my goal is to try to prevent that or to reverse it. My goal is to reverse it, but if I can prevent it, that's great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fish oil is 100% every kidney patient or chronic kidney disease patient gets that, a really high quality version, and that's non-negotiable. And then herbs like psyllium, nettle seed, and a couple other ones that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but those two are really important nephroprotective herbs that are also non-negotiable. And
then also psyllium has the added benefit of helping with the liver as well.
Yep. Love that herb. It is a slow acting herb. You do have to take it for a very long time, but that's okay because this has been going on for a long time. So you should probably take something that.
And that's kind of an important note for people to understand about naturopathic medicine and like botanical medicine as a whole, is that herbs need to be dosed at a therapeutic dose. So they need to be dosed high and they need to be dosed for a long amount of time. Which is something that you can't really achieve if you're just going to Sprouts and picking up an herb or something like that because you heard it's good for the liver. Like proper dosing is really important. And also working with someone who understands the pharmacology behind different herbs, because they do have very real physiological effects inside your body, and they can interact with medications and they can interact with other herbs. So you have to make sure that you're working with someone who gets that, who understands it and knows the proper and safe use of all these herbs.
Yep. And
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of drugs, these patients are on so many drugs. So that is an extremely important aspect to consider, making sure that nothing is cross-reacting with anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in light of all that, do you have like maybe three tips that you would give people for supporting long-term kidney function?
Yeah. So, like I said, sleep is
Mhm,
number one,
mhm,
100%. You have to get your at least 8 hours of sleep. And all the research, there's thousands of studies on sleep.
mhm,
All of them say that 8 hours is the minimum that humans need in order to be able to function and
mhm.
recover properly. So, that is number one.
Please, not 6?
Right. Not five. I have patients who are like, I
What?
only sleep 5 hours and I'm fine. No, well, your brain is tricking you. You actually need 8.
Mhm, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, because the kidneys are so sensitive to toxicity and because they hold on to all the toxicity, any way that you can reduce your environmental toxicity is really important for the kidneys.
Mhm,
So that means using a water filter, a really good one, not just like a Brita
mhm.
handheld on the countertop. Um,
What's an example of a good one that people could look for?
So reverse osmosis systems that you can set up in your sink is awesome. A little expensive. I use a Berkey with the black filters, so that filters out pretty much anything and everything that's in the water. Love Berkeys. They're fabulous. I don't know, what do you use?
We have a reverse osmosis
Yeah,
filter. Mhm,
awesome.
mhm,
So those are good examples.
mhm.
And then an air filter, because indoor air quality can get real grimy real fast.
Yeah.
So a HEPA filter would be great for inside the home. And then like eating organic foods, not eating pesticides and other crap that, oops, am I allowed to say that? Other junk that,
This is our channel. We do whatever we want.
okay, great. Crap that they've put on your food. You can't, eating that stuff is just going to make things worse
Yeah.
quickly. So
Mhm.
uh, was that 2 or 3?
That was 2.
That was 2. Okay, the third one. I don't know what the third one should be. Probably just eat a really good diet. Don't eat too much sugar because
Yeah.
sugar damages the kidneys in more ways than one. It actually directly damages blood vessels and it also increases blood pressure. It produces diabetes.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like a triple thronged approach
Yeah,
to reducing
yeah.
risk, right? Sugar is
Absolutely.
definitely going to damage the kidneys in more ways than one. So,
Absolutely. And not only kidneys, but like you said, the blood vessels, it
yep,
can contribute to atherosclerosis, metabolic disease, like all of those types
everything.
of things. So,
Yep,
that's something that I think has gained a lot more understanding recently, the idea of like avoiding processed foods and sugars and things like that, and
yep,
moving more towards whole natural foods.
yep.
And that's something that we'll have to talk about in
Yes, that'll
another
be
video.
a topic.
That one will take us a long time to dissect. That's something that both you and I are super passionate about and could
Yes,
probably go on for hours and hours about.
definitely.
Anyways, on that note,
Okay,
I think this is perfect for today.
awesome. I think we
Thank
crushed
you
it.
so much for being here with me,
Of
for agreeing to do this and
course.
being part of this experiment with me.
Of
And
course.
where can people find you?
Okay, I have a website, holisticdrhoot.com.
Mhm,
It's doctor spelled out and then HOUT,
mhm.
not HOOT, as many people like to spell it. And I'm also on Instagram, same handle, and Facebook, same handle. Uh, you can email me. I love patient emails. You can text me anywhere. Find me anywhere. Come to
And
my
is all that
house.
information on your website?
All that information is on the website. Yep.
Perfect.
And on Instagram too. I think it's in the little bio.
Cool.
Got fancy with
Awesome.
it.
So fancy.
So
It's
fancy.
one of the things that we did not learn in medical school was technology or
Nope. Had to
or
make it up.
social media.
Yeah.
It's been a fun experiment for both of us.
Sure. Definitely.
Anyways, thank you for being here today,
Of
Jen,
course. Thank you for
and
having me.
looking forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.